Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how's it going?
It's going well, Steven. How are you guys?
Can't complain. How's it in DC?
That's good. It's hot, but we're making do.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Well, I'll let you and Chike take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I'll kick it off with an actual movie that I think Chica and I both saw this past weekend, and that is the documentary film called The Fight. And this is a film that follows the story of four ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union lawyers, and their fight during the Trump administration on four different cases, including the travel ban, the transgender military, the census, and the an abortion um, suit. So it's pretty good. It's a documentary. It follows their lives and kind of how they got involved and what they did. And it kind of gives you a little bit of background on ACLU, which I thought was interesting in the sense that, and I wasn't familiar, and maybe you were familiar too with this, but ACLU was the ones who fought for the rights for the Charlottesville protesters to protest during
Hmm.
the beginning of the administration. So, ACLU they do a lot of things, even if you don't agree with it on either side. But they are there to kind of defend the rights of the First Amendment or other liberties. So I saw it on Amazon. It's a rental. You can get it, but I thought it was well worthwhile. They chose good stories of kind of fights that they won, and you really got to see some sincere reaction to the work that these people pretty much dedicate their time to. So definitely recommend if you're looking for something different and, people that are fighting the good fight.
Hmm. And I thought that it was pretty fair in the sense that it didn't show you like all good. It showed
Mhm.
you also cases that they lost. I really liked the part where they were showing you in real time where I think it's Lee Gallerant. He was about to be on MSNBC and they were waiting for the verdict and he was about to go live and then they wind up losing all those cases that day and he
Mhm.
had to go on live and tell everyone that they lost everything. Not that it was good that they lost everything, but I like the fact that they showed him, upset, depressed, and, having to deliver the bad news that they lost all the cases that day. And I thought
Yeah,
that it was
yeah,
a real, yeah,
yeah.
I,
It
I I
was.
really love that.
Yeah, I think the camera, the crew did a good job of catching some moments that were authentic. That
Hmm.
exactly, it's not stuff you
And that
normally see.
urgency.
Yep.
Yeah, that whole urgency, because he's on the phone and he's getting ready to go live. He was like, I have 60 seconds. Like, come on, tell me what's going on. I have to read this before I go on. Like, he's really like in it. And it's like, wow, you're right there with him. It's like, oh my God. Like, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then that moment that just broke me when they reunited the mother and daughter and they collapsed on the steps because they haven't seen each other in
Oh
so
yeah, for
long.
5 months. Yeah.
Oh my God. I broke. I really did. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really good. It was really well done. They may win some awards. It was that good.
Hmm.
I hope they win something from that. And the whole situation with them fighting for the rights of the individuals in Charlotte, even though Charlotte turned out to be the way that it was, I cannot, I don't feel negative toward what they did for fighting for the rights of those people.
Hmm.
And they do a comparison to like back in what was the other when they fought for the Nazis?
Yeah.
What
So
year was that?
I in the 70s, and I know nothing
Yeah,
about this, so you can
yeah.
definitely look it
So
up. But
if
some
anyone
neo-Nazi
knows,
movement.
in the 70s, I think it was Madison Square Garden, and the Nazis wanted the right to be able to protest, and they basically took over Madison Square Garden. But it was a peaceful situation. There were no weapons, no one fought, no one got
Hmm.
hurt. They just wanted to protest. Listen, if the KKK wants to have a rally and they want to walk down the street, they want to march, I say go for it. Because when Black Lives Matter wants to gather and they want to march, I want them to have the same rights too.
Hmm.
you have a right to be heard. That's in the Constitution.
Yeah.
And it is your constitutional right to protest and be heard. Anyone has that right, and they deserve that. Do I have to tune in? No, I don't have to. Do I have to participate or get angry or counter protest? I don't have to. But it is your right as an individual to protest. And
Yeah.
so with the whole Charlotte thing, I thought that I didn't feel bad that they supported them, but what was bad was the outcome, and that people got hurt and murdered.
Hmm. Well, and it's interesting too because you watch that and there was a high-level executive saying that he doesn't think they should have gone and done the Charlottesville
Mm-hmm.
thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's almost telling that maybe with this current administration, the ACLU maybe shouldn't always defend the rights of the kind of the white power movements or these kind of movements if they're going to turn to violence. And so
But
it's an
there was no
interesting
way for them to
perspective.
predict that, though.
Well,
There was
yeah,
no way for
exactly.
them to predict that.
And it's an interesting perspective that even within the organization, there's still varying opinions. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're not a perfect organization, but they still do a lot of good and try to, work for the best.
Right. But I thought that it was very good. It's definitely worth a watch. Like Adam said, it's streaming on Amazon. Check it out. And it's a new release. It just came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called The Fight.
Yep.
Did you see anything else?
I just finished Perry Mason, season finale
Mm-hmm.
last night. Good, a little anticlimactic. I thought, there was good stuff that happened, but I was just, the episode before really did up the ante and really
Yeah.
felt intense. This one, things got resolved. They're setting up for the next season. But yeah, there was just some storylines I was hoping a little bit more from, and I don't want to kind of spoil it too
Yeah,
much. But
don't spoil it for me because I didn't see the one last night yet.
okay, good. But I will say, great production. The music
Mhm.
was great. The shots were great. Acting was great. So it's high all around. So definitely check it out.
Good. I saw a feature film, a new release. It's called, well, it has two titles. One is a Canadian title, which is Target Number One, and then the American title is Most Wanted. So together, it's being billed as Most Wanted, Target Number One. So in the opening credits, I see that this is a Saban production. If anyone has watched Power Rangers back in the day, or some of your favorite anime of back in the day, you'll remember at the end, you'll see Saban Productions at the end as it's going off the closing credits. Saban is not an American company. It's a foreign production company. And like I said, this movie is a Canadian movie which stars Josh Hartnett, Antoine Oliver Pallone, and Jim Gaffigan. And this movie is based on a true story, and it follows the 1989 story of the investigative reporter, who's working to expose the incarceration or the jailing of a young man in Thailand for drug trafficking, and he is falsely imprisoned. And the drug dealers and the police are working together to make that gentleman a scapegoat, and the reporter has uncovered the fact that there's foul play. And so the more he digs, the more that the drug dealers and the police officers are working to silence him to the point of death. There is another movie, I think it's Cate Blanchett stars as Veronica Guerin, and that was probably one of the first movies that I've ever saw about a reporter being so powerful in their job that the powers that be want to snuff them out. And it just reminded me of that. It was a really good movie. If you have an opportunity, check it out. It's also streaming on Amazon. But this film brings up a bigger subject for me as it relates to films. So, and I go back to seeing the Saban Productions, and it brought me to think about, we may start to see more productions made not in the US of A, especially during this COVID time where we're not really kicking out productions like we were. Production houses have kind of shut down. Some production companies are still operating and trying to get us feature films. But I think that this may be the shift and Hollywood being the force that it once was in the global market of giving us films. I think this will be an opportunity for other production companies to step up. And it brought up the question to me, are we going to lose that particular superpower that we have as America of being the great force of cinema? Because we are the great force of cinema around the world. People love our movies. We're known for Hollywood and kicking out featured films. Are we losing that? And that's a question that I ask myself in seeing this, because I've absorbed some pretty decent foreign films, which are becoming mainstream. Normally your foreign films don't really make it to mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, what's the one, Parasite, which actually won an Oscar. It's a foreign film. And some people were outraged that that foreign film won an American award for being a great film of the year. Some people feel some type of way about that. So I'm seeing a shift. I don't know if anyone else is paying attention, but I'm starting to see the shift. And it got me thinking about us being a superpower and now losing our superpower status in the world as a country. And I think that this is an indicator of us shifting, just how it resonated with me.
Yeah, interesting. I still think we got it, but there's just too many studios in the U.S. So once things kick back into gear, I feel like things will just be the way it was.
So I had a conversation at work today, and we were talking about the movies. And I just did an article for iMagazine asking the question, are we losing one of our great American institutions? And it's going to the movies. I read an article where they're looking at Wonder Woman 1984 as one of the major films that will be pivotal in the resurgence of the movie industry. This movie is scheduled to be released around October. And if you know anything about the film industry, there are a bunch of films, major films, that are being held because they're waiting for the movies to come back. And they're not going to release them in direct stream because they would be a major loss, because those films will never be able to recoup the finances that they kicked out going to direct stream. So they're trying to hold off for the box office. And so Wonder Woman is going to be the tester. It's going to be the benchmark for the resurgence of the big budget film. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's interesting because I think last week Disney announced that they are going to release Mulan on streaming on Disney Plus, which is for anyone that doesn't know, it's an unprecedented move. It's supposed to be released in the theaters in March. Disney obviously has the money behind handling this, and it's going to be a $30 rental in addition to your Disney Plus subscription. So it's not going to be cheap, but of course it's probably cheaper than a night out at the movies anyway. So we'll see how that goes first, because if Disney can pull it off and it becomes a hit, this may be kind of the norm for now. I don't see, at least in DC, things reopening in October, movie theater wise. So it'll be interesting if this Wonder Woman thing does happen. And I know it's not kind of the Disney strength behind it, but it will be interesting because Mulan is a September 4th release on streaming that was supposed to be one of their biggest benchmark movies of the year.
But okay, so with the whole Disney Plus and the Mulan release, that's a unique situation simply because Disney now owns their own streaming situation. They can kind of control that release. Yeah. And they're going to get double. You're going to have to first sign up for Disney Plus, and then you're going to have to pay after you get Disney Plus to see this feature film.
Correct.
So they kind of control that situation, which is unique. So if thinking about that, if Warner Brothers wanted to do the same thing as it related to Wonder Woman, because that's a DC character, and there is an app out there that is strictly DC, and I know that they're slowly but surely selling off some of their content to Netflix, to other entities. Like I think the only big streaming thing on the DC app now that they didn't get rid of is Titans.
Okay.
They could probably do the same thing for Wonder Woman if they took it directly to DC. And then you have to do the DC streaming, and then you also now have to pay for this feature film. So they could do that with Wonder Woman, but I don't know if they would be able to recoup what they put out in that film.
I think it'll be an interesting gambit. for me, I think the litmus test will be the James Bond movie.
Mhm.
If that ends up going to streaming, then I think that'll be the big turning point where studios are going to just kind of have to accept their current catalog
Yeah.
of what's out is just this has to be in streaming. So we'll see. I mean, it is tough. It's going to be interesting. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing James Bond in a theater, and I wouldn't mind seeing Wonder Woman in a theater. But it's if my option is streaming, and right now there's nothing great out that's new, then I'll stream it.
Yeah. I don't know. So winding things up, we talked about Perry Mason. The Chi was awesome. The Chi has been awesome. They're having a great season. I'm starting to get into this new show called I May Destroy You on HBO. I don't know how I feel about it yet, so I'm not going to talk about it yet. I'm only like 3 episodes in. It's interesting. I'll say that.
Okay.
I haven't summed up any type of opinion yet. I'm still absorbing it. The Umbrella Academy has started up its 2nd season, and it starts off pretty good. That's still
nice.
a winner. Check that out. Greenleaf is still good. I'm waiting to see what this spinoff is going to be. Steven, I see you shaking your head. What does that mean? What do you...
Greenleaf, yeah. I mean, this is how you end a series. This is how you end it. They've done a great job.
Yeah.
This series finale is tomorrow. Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm gonna shout out Miss Lynn Whitfield. Miss Lynn Whitfield, she is the epitome of an actress. She gives it to you in every episode. Every time. And I'm looking forward to this new series on HBO called Lovecraft. It looks like it's going to be everything that I want in a series, and it's starring friend to the show, Michael K. Williams, Journey Smollett, and Courtney Vance. So this should be interesting. I don't really get the full concept of the show yet, but from the trailer, it's like it's all over the place. It's action.
I was just about to ask you about that Lovecraft Nation, because it is a new show.
Yeah.
It's a Jordan Peele production, so it's going to have a little bit of that, you know, because he's doing the Twilight Zone series. So it's going to have a little bit of that, like, spooky, magical, whimsy kind of aspect to it. But I watch it. I can't wait to hear what you say about it, because
I don't know where this is going to go. It just looks very, very interesting to me. So I'm looking forward to absorbing it and see, you know, where this goes. But in my book, HBO is just one of the best networks that kicks out ultimate content to me.
Yep.
So so that's all I have for now.
Yep. Me too.
Well, Big Brother's back too, and it's Big Brother All Stars. And they had their 2nd episode last night. Really good.
I didn't know you were a reality fan, Steven.
Well, you know, I didn't even start watching Big Brother until I started working at my current job. My boss, she's watched it every season, and then Ty's my best friend Ty, he's seen every season. So I said, let me check it out, and it is. I thought it was too much because they're only doing 2 episodes a week now. But it was 3 episodes a week. I was like, I'm gonna watch all that, but you want to.
But you
you know what they did? They quarantined for 14 days, all the contestants, and then they got tested several times a week, and then now they're in the house. Before going to the house, they had to keep their mask on, and then they went into the house, and now they can, you know, play normal.
So isn't Big Brother one of the premier reality shows? Didn't that come like right after Real World?
It's like 20.
Been around forever.
They're like on season 22 or something like that.
And different countries have it, and
yeah. All right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for letting us know what to spend our money on. It's like it's getting a little expensive and what not to. But enjoy your break, Adam, Chike, and I'll see y'all in September.
All right,
September.
thanks a lot.
All right. Right back after this.